everyone. Welcome back to episode 21 of Talkoffamepod podcast. I'm Kylie, and today we have a singer-songwriter, Sonja Midtune. Thank you so much for coming on, Sonja. It's a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you. And it's actually just Sonia. So I
Ah,
can just say Sonia.
hey, at least I know future.
Yeah.
So over the last year, we've been stuck in isolation. So what is something that you did over the last year that you wouldn't have time to do before?
Oh man. Yeah, I wrote and recorded my EP, which is like a 4-song mini album. I definitely didn't have time to do that before quarantining, and then I just was able to get that done.
Oh, absolutely. What was that like writing process like for you when writing like a small album and doing it during isolation or quarantine?
It felt very freeing because I had full days to work on things, and I knew that, there was kind of a period of time in the spring where everything was really on hold, and then work started picking up again. So I knew that that time where everything was really on hold was going to be a short period of time. So I got down to work and just like got going on it and gave myself like full days and just tried to really enjoy it. And then once things started picking up again, I had the songs written, so I was able to like work with my schedule to get the recordings done.
Oh, absolutely. So as we're speaking about you being like a singer-songwriter, what made you want to start that?
Um, I just have always been very musical. I think like one of the key moments for me was I was in theater in high school, and I always like got pushed out of the good roles. Um, I had went to a very competitive high school, and I just like never seemed to get a good part. And I really had this urge to like sing and perform for people. And it took a few years of like, so in high school, I realized, okay, maybe this isn't for me. And then in college, I did choir and music composition was my major. And then I started to write music naturally. So it was more so like me that evolved. And it's just kind of who I am now. But I don't think I sat down and thought, I'm going to be a singer-songwriter. I just, just went for it. Make
Like,
your
did
own
you
stage,
think
as they say.
did you think like when you're in like a high school or a little kid, did you ever think like, oh, I'm gonna be like a singer-songwriter like you are now, like who you are now?
I mean, I definitely had moments where I thought about it. I really I was obsessed with No Doubt and Gwen Stefani, and I
Mhm.
would like stand on my countertops when my parents weren't home and just like sing the music. And like I wanted to be more so like a rock star than like a singer-songwriter type.
Oh, love it. I'm the same exact way. Sometimes I just go on my countertop or jump on go on to bed and be like I just jam out and dance. I'm the same exact way. I'm
Yeah.
a music type of freak, I would say. So I'm like always singing dance all the time. That I just can't help myself.
Yeah, exactly. And why stop yourself, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So like what is like a your creative process like for you when writing a song?
Let's see. I have tried many different methods, and in fact, I teach songwriting at 2 different universities. So, my philosophy is to like always just try something new. So, if you want to write the lyrics first and then put them to music, or you write the chords first, or you write a guitar riff first, or you pull words from different songs that you like and then like smush them together to make a new song. Um, but I think my most authentic songs have come from like if I'm filled with a certain emotion or I'm like stirring on a memory or something that I want to write about. And then I sit down and I just kind of like start singing and start talking. And I try to keep my voice memos app open and I just record, you know, like the process, and then I go back and listen to it and I take parts that I like, and then I try to smooth out and think about the lyrics in terms of like, what do I want to actually say here? And then what do I want people to actually hear?
No, absolutely. Like how, like you said, like you were like you teach music at two universities. Like, what made you want to like do that? Did people reach out to you, or it is something you actually want to do?
People reached out to me actually. So it was like a friend of a friend who worked at or he's a professor, and they needed a new songwriting teacher, and he reached out to me to apply.
Oh, love it. So like, since you've been doing singing, songwriting for a couple of years now, like where do you see yourself in the next like 5 to 10 years as like a singer, songwriter, or even like a music teacher, I'll say.
I definitely like in terms of short-term goals could see myself doing consultations for songwriting privately, outside of the work I do with schools. And like this upcoming year, I'm working on releasing 10 songs, and I hope to like be an opening band for somebody. And then I guess in terms of like long-term goals, I would like to like do really good opening band tour with a good artist. That's kind of like middle to bigger size. And then I think my ultimate goal would be to perform at the Grammys. Um, so yeah, I mean it could be possible. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely. Like who, like if you could perform with any band or like any singer, even if they're still here or not, who would it be?
Um, that is a really tough question because, like I said, I loved No Doubt and Gwen Stefani, but right now I don't really vibe with what she's doing. But I think in a way, if I made a cover and she took notice of it and she wanted to sing with me or something, that would be like ultimate goals, definitely.
Absolutely, 100%. So, like, what is a piece of advice for people that would like to become like a singer-songwriter, or they just want to do it when, like, as a kid, they want to be older?
I would say like just start doing it, just start writing music and putting it out there because you're going to evolve. So like if you were to write 20 songs right now, and you never put them out, sometimes mentally it creates kind of like this backlog of music, and you don't know kind of like what to do because like you have to get them all recorded to kind of move on. So I would just
Yeah.
say getting started, and you don't have to go all official, like, creating album art and putting it on Spotify. You can just put things up on SoundCloud. And other than that, I would say try to start being selective with who you take feedback from. So, you know, the first thing being just do it, just start writing music and putting it out there. And the second one being be careful who you let like um, who you let shape the advice coming to you, like what feedback you're getting.
Oh, 100%. So, as you're talking about advice and stuff, like, what is like your motto or some good advice that you live by being like a singer-songwriter?
Um, Definitely don't try to copy somebody else's style. Um, and like I think one thing I've noticed in the last, 10 years is there'll be a really big artist that comes along, like Katy Perry and like Phoebe Bridgers, and you'll notice people will try to like sing like them. And so their voice, instead of being original, is trendy.
Yeah.
And so I would just say, like, really work on developing your own style, without trying to be like, oh, I'm super, super different. Like if you want to do whatever you want, but instead of trying to latch on to like being the next Phoebe Bridgers, just being yourself and developing your style because you can't be the next Phoebe Bridgers. She already exists.
Yeah, absolutely. Like now people kind of in our generation are like always saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna be the next or the next, let's just say Will Smith for say, and people and like I always
Right.
like you can never be Will Smith because you're your own person. You're not Will Smith unless you're actually Will Smith. Like no one, you can't be him. Like you can do something similar to what he did or what he's doing, kind of similar things he does, but you can't exactly be like him. That's kind of what people do nowadays. It's like, oh, people think, oh, if Will Smith does it, then I can do that too. I mean, that's what
Right.
you can't be exactly like Will Smith. Unless you're
Exactly. Right.
so like what skills have you learned that helped you with your singing career?
Definitely just like taking lessons on quote unquote how to sing correctly, because you don't want to hurt your voice. And my college major was in music theory and composition, and that, you don't need to know that to write music, but it really helped me learn chord progressions, helped me make my music a little bit more interesting. And I would just say the more that you can learn, the better, but like don't wait until you learn to start making music, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you don't have to be a kid to start writing music. You can be however old you are. Like you don't have to be in your 20s, however old you are to be a singer-songwriter. You can start whatever age you are. Because anyone, if you want to be a singer-songwriter, you can be a singer-songwriter, be whoever you are. Even though people think like, oh, can't be this, no one will believe in me. But do what makes you happy. And don't like make people like don't believe
Right.
you unless you do something you actually passionate about. Just don't let people stop you.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, like what would your dream like music collaboration and why?
Ooh, I think the first thing that comes to my head would be to write a song with Chris Martin.
Oh,
I just am I'm a
absolutely.
big Coldplay fan. Yeah. And I just think that everything he touches turns to gold. And I don't know, he's really stood the test of time.
100%. Like, do you have like a favorite Coldplay Chris Martin song that you specifically like?
Oh, no, I would say though, like the first, four albums, I just love. I mean, I tend to get into his music, like whatever Coldplay puts out, I'll tend to get into about 2 years later. Um,
Yeah.
so the most recent thing I've listened to it, but I was just like, okay, yeah, it's out, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I I can't hear, like, even just the song Yellow, I can't hear it without being like, oh, wow, what an
Yeah.
amazing song.
Yeah, if I ask my mom, because my mom is like obsessed with Coldplay, that she'll be like, "Oh, I'll go play Coldplay or Taylor Swift or Beyonce, either one." She's like,
Yeah.
if you ask me if I know this Coldplay song, I'll be like, probably not. I don't, because I'm not gonna hear like she is, but like I'll be like, I don't know what the song this is, but I'll hook it up.
Yeah.
But what is like your favorite part about making songs and being in industry?
I think, when you have a song that you wrote that it feels like it represents you, and then you get it recorded in the style that you want, it just feels very, like you feel very understood. Like, to be
Yeah.
able to represent yourself in an artistic way makes you feel so understood. And then that feeling quickly goes away because we evolve. It's like working on a school project, and when you present it, you feel like $1 million because you worked really hard on it, and it feels like this is my best work. And then,
Yeah.
summer vacation rolls around and you're like, I don't care about that project anymore. I now am focusing on this next thing. And so it feels kind of like that when putting out music.
Oh, absolutely. Like you just try to focus on one thing or other. Like you don't care about this, you don't care about what's coming up for you next.
Yeah.
Like the industry is like a really kind of tough place to be in, wherever you are a singer, actress, or whatever. It's a very kind of difficult place to be in. And so like people always say like you shouldn't be in the industry, you'll get harassed, people hate women. I'm like, that's practically true. But if I want to do this, if I want to be in the industry, and I can do that. Like if you don't want to be harassed, we need to be women and don't care and say something. Like
Hmm.
industry has always kind of been like a place where like men are always better than women. Women are always downfall of men. I mean, like that's something I always hated. And like I always never saw myself on screen. I never saw myself like who was like me and stuff that I was like, I can try something new. I can like since I never had someone on screen that I saw that was like me, I want to be someone that can't see themselves, that they see me or someone on a podcast be like, oh, I want to be them. I want to be her, what she does. Like at least I never saw
Right.
on screen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So the final question for the interview is if you were not a singer-songwriter, what would you be?
Oh, that's a funny question because I could see myself doing two different things. One would be like, I love helping people and I would like to be a doctor or something like that. Um, the other one, completely opposite, is I could just totally picture myself as like this hippie lady who lives in the mountains in Montana and like makes soaps and lotions and like comes down on Sundays for the farmers market and sells her, like oils and stuff.
Yeah.
And doesn't need, social media or anything like that. I could totally see myself just being like crafty,
Mhm.
and just like really enjoying the process of being creative. And in fact, I thought about this a long time because like I was trying to last year create merch, and they always say like, you can always do beanies or sweatshirts and t-shirts, but like coming up with a merch idea that really represents you is key. So I thought, with that mentality of like, what else am I interested in? I ended up
Yeah.
making candles. And I'm not trying to pitch them to you because I only have like a few sets left, but I made candles that represent each song on my
Oh, really?
EP. Yeah, and I would say like that's been the number one thing that's been a real light bulb moment for me was like you can make money off of merch, and that was like a really good thing that I did this year. So I took the candle and soaps idea and I learned how to make candles and I made these candle sets. And then now, as the holidays are coming up, I'm thinking I should make candles again for my friends. And then next year I'm hoping to like keep up the theme. And I think like getting someone to buy a set of four is kind of a lot. So if I have, a big single that's happening, I might like just make one special brand candle and just like really push it. So
Oh, absolutely.
that was kind of a roundabout way of answering your question.
Yeah, like I'm the same exact way. I'm very like an artistic person. I love making stuff. And like if you make candles or something, let me know. I will have to get one. But then like have you seen the show Grey's Anatomy or like The Good Doctor or any Grey's like doctor show? They made you
Yeah,
be kind of like a doctor.
yeah,
Yeah, because I'm
definitely.
Grey's aholic, I would say. I'm obsessed with Grey's. Like that's probably the only thing I'm known for is Grey's Anatomy for sure. Like, I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Summer I worked at a doctor's office and I like had scrubs and I would help kind of like check people in, and it was really fun. The days just flew by.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was such a blast talking to you. And we'll have to do one of these again soon, hopefully. And I can't wait to see all they do. And if you make candles, send me a message. I'd love to get one. But yeah, do you so
Totally.
going on? We'll have to speak soon.
Yeah, thank